So Simal, I think we can start.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
अरे तुझे पता है उस दिन क्या हुआ?
क्या हुआ था उस दिन? हमें भी तो बताओ।
एक
Okay, once again, welcome back to the session on ISO 9001 standards. So we are into the second day for the second session. Yesterday we discussed the clause 4 from ISO 9001 standards. Hope you got a very clear idea about the requirements, how we can apply to our work environment, to our processes. Can somebody just help quickly recap, anything very specifically you understood, very important things what you came across? Yeah, right, excellent. Anyway, the risk identification we have in detail today. So yesterday we just had a discussion, just a brief about it. Anything else? Anybody else?
What we understood was what we understood what are the types of standards that we actually have existing in the world.
Yes.
And then thereafter we talked about a quick understanding of what quality is, and then we understood the importance of defining the roles and responsibilities and how it impacts the overall accountability of people.
Yes.
Other than that, I think we talked about the scope. We discussed scope, what is
Yes.
scope and how it is defined, and with that we came on to risk assessment, I think.
Right, yeah. And just to add one more point here, anybody else like to contribute?
Sure, sir. So we also understand how SOPs are important for the employees and for the customers.
Yeah. Good. Yeah.
That's it.
Okay, yeah, that's it, great. I think whoever is administrator, can you just give me the share access? I think I'm not allowed to share the screen. So please permit me to share the screen. Okay. Meanwhile, yeah.
Wait, let me see. I think this invite has been sent by Anisha, I think. Is Anisha here?
So I think the host.
Anisha's task was only to share the link, not to join.
Okay, you can check that meanwhile. When we plan the system, QMS, quality management system, as a whole, okay, we understand the scope where we want to apply, like you say, which location, for which activities, which processes. So in that, what we are doing initially is identifying all macro level processes. Okay, that is the place. Okay, that is the point from where you begin. Okay, so the first thing to start with is to split or identify all the processes so that we don't leave any process. We don't keep anything process out of the KMS, any process out of the KMS. We will be considering everything, and also we will be knowing the importance of each and every process. We will know the inputs required, outputs from the process, the controls required. So defining the process, basically if we are a beginner, if you are planning to implement a management system, any management system, first talk to all stakeholders. You see, if we have the outbound responsibility, talk to procurement person, HR person, lab person, or the radiology person, other clinic physicians or other support staff. See all the activities they do, okay, so that you have a very detailed list of each and every process. Then you think about the documents required, right? SOPs, the rules, okay, responsibilities to be assigned for the process. What are the inputs required? Okay, how it is controlled, outputs, how that will be controlled or monitored to make sure we are getting the right output. Okay, so the point by the process design or process based approach is very key when you start the management system. So that is under clause 4.4. Okay, that's one important thing just to add to what you listed now. Okay, so please keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. Another one is PDCA, Plan to Check Act, where you have to plan everything first. Clearly define the rules, responsibilities, SOPs, okay, documents required, any other documents required, how you are going to monitor this, everything, okay, for each and every process what you have defined, and then execute, then you monitor it periodically, otherwise you will, many companies, almost, most of the companies we can say, when we do a gap assessment, we may see like there is a good process or good system in place to, where it is documented, they have clear idea, like what to do, and people are doing according to that. But the third and fourth part, like monitoring, collecting the inputs, and then using it for further improvement, may not be very much evident. Okay, so that is the level of maturity you have to bring in to your quality management system. Like we can say, if we are having, if we are using a scale of 1 to 5, maturity level of 1 to 5, where 1 is very chaotic, like nothing, everything happens, okay, by God's sake, we don't have anything improper, okay, it just goes on like that. Second is like some process of the 3, you can say that is like somewhat better, it is average or above average, where you have procedures or some processes are defined, processes are managed to some extent, where you have people are oriented, and there is some process based on process. 4 and 5 are like, we can say good and excellent, because 4 is you can count yourself, okay, or you can think like you are on level 4 when you are actively monitoring your processes through meetings or audits or collecting feedback. So these are the methods, techniques you can apply to see how your system is working. And then if you further use it for your improvement, you will be on level 5. Okay, so that is the highest maturity you have to target, so you have to try to achieve. Then you can say you have a very perfect system. And moreover, the good thing about your organization is most of the processes are simple, straightforward, and when you have a proper definition of each and every process, it is easy to manage. You don't have too much complicated, or like every time you don't have to make changes like that. All right. So that's the key points. These are the key points what we discussed yesterday. All right, let's start today's session then. We will start from clause 5. Let me share the screen. I think it's enabled now. Yeah, all good. Hope my screen is visible now.
Yes, so it's visible.
So the whole slide is visible, right?
Yes. Maybe you can put it in the presentation mode if you want to, but otherwise it's
It's
good.
actually what I meant is this is in video. Okay. I'm using the slide. The reason is if I use the slide, I won't see this if you text something.
Understood.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
I think we can see it. Guys, if anybody has any challenges, please feel free to speak.
yeah. So that's the reason I'm just using the window itself. Alright, leadership is very simple, nothing much here. Basically, you have to have a leader who takes the responsibility of the entire management.
Give one colleague over
the
there.
senior manager,
Next
GM,
page,
CEO, and the qualities. Okay, but ultimate responsibility for the management system is on the top management or the leader or CEO or somebody who is having the overall responsibility of the organization. Because you cannot just put this on somebody else and say like it has to come out in a better way. It should happen like that. Okay. It is a leader who has to make sure everything is in place Whenever it is required, the person has to get involved and monitor everything, collect the feedback, see any resources are required, changes, updates required, they have to initiate or they have to make sure somebody is doing that. Okay. It never says leader has to do this or that, but leader has to ensure. Okay, leader is here, GM or the CEO or whoever is in the top management level, okay, or top management can assign a person with the overall responsibility of the management system. Earlier, there used to be a term or a role called management representative who takes the entire responsibility of the management system. But after 2015 revision has come, that thing is removed from the standard. And now the responsibility is assigned to everyone, every process owners, plus the overall responsibilities of the leader. So again, still you can have a management representative who will take care of the system, or you can call for ISO 15189 similar standards, it might be quality manager, okay, or technical manager. Actually, yesterday I was just discussing only the lab part, and Rishji texted me that we have radiology, we have other clinic or what's that to say consulting activities. So we will discuss more examples, okay, for all those type of activities, processes. Okay, so now since you have different verticals or say like the different set of services which you are providing, you may assign overall response for all these. Okay, say you can have a quality manager for the clinics, you can have a quality manager or a managing representative for the radiology, and management representative quality manager for laboratory activities. That is also a good practice. And other than ISO 9001, there are other standards you might be familiar. NABL, NABH for lab, NABH for clinic, NABH for radiology. Okay, all these are there. But everything is dealing similar, details. The structure is different, but when you try to implement the system, it will has to cover all the quality aspects. Okay, but that is specifically for the healthcare organization. This ISO 9000 is like a general standard for every type of business or organization. So now there can be a top management. Top management can assign overall responsibility to different further different persons, different roles. And again, all the junior level or the middle level managers has to take the responsibility and make sure their team is contributing towards the implementation, improvement of the management system. So it says that top managers should take the accountability of the PMS, establish policies and objectives, okay, integrate it with all other processes, provide necessary resources. It is very important. Without resources, nobody can do anything. So it means that if a resource is not available, then it is a responsibility of top management to make sure any resource required for the implementation of management system is available. Communicate the importance of KMS. This is very important here. In this, normally we can see all this might be happening. Okay, there won't be any problem with that. Sometimes the resources may not be there. It could be some because of the financial or issues or something like that. But communicating the importance is something the top management has to do frequently. Otherwise, all the other employees may lose the interest in the system. Nobody is taking care of it. The senior man is not involved. So how that is done is basically management can send out email communications, or if we have annual meeting, or if we have any org level programs. During that, you may spend 5-10 minutes discussing this, like what are the improvements we had, or what are the challenges we face, or what are the new things or new targets we are assigning, what we are planning to do in the next year, coming year. So that will give the our team members an overall idea that this is very important for the organization. This is something driving us this will be helping us to, get into a position where we will be, further improving the system. Like that, communication is very much important. Okay, and make sure it is achieving the intended outcomes. Yesterday we discussed that one of the quality management system principle is we have to use an evidence-based approach. So the data report should be there with the management. The management is not seeing the data or not getting a monthly, quarterly data. Then we can assume that somebody is not doing that, or we are not collecting data. There is some breakdown in the system. Okay, so the data will speak how good we are or where we have to improve. Promote the continual improvement. How to promote continual improvement? Basically, how the management can promote continual improvement in idea. Because management should be knowing that. How to promote this. So what could be the best thing the management might be doing this to promote continual improvement?
बाहर चल रहा है
Idea? Because I'm working in the organization. If you give me some roles, responsibilities, authorities, I can do that. Okay. Say 8 to 5 is my working time. I do my duties, responsibilities, and then end of the day I may be leaving. I will be coming next day again. Okay, I might be punctual. Everything might be going all right.
गाड़ी का
But
गाड़ी के लिए
if I have to contribute more,
नहीं वैसे माइक फोन वाला
तू एडिटर बन के जाएगा हाँ
I have more capability. Or if you have more
ले 700 वाला पहले शुरू के लिए
how to make use of it.
ये तो है
Because that is
ये तो है मेरे पास ये
something we
वाला
have to think about.
दो वाला दे रहा हूँ ये छोटे आ रहे हैं ना आजकल ये क्लिप टूट जाती है इनकी जल्दी इनकी क्लिप टूट जाती हैं इस वाले की मेरी क्लिप टूट गई क्लिप नहीं मिल रही
Resources are doing some projects or something for country improvement. Otherwise, it is performing the assigned duties, responsibilities, and the things system will be going on. So, what could be the actual thing you can do, or the top management can ensure to promote country improvement? When you hire any senior manager, anytime do you ask a question like that, how you will improve our system?
Usually, yes.
Okay. So then that is a good point. Like they will have you will know like okay whether this person is having that is the big thing. There is a point where you know somebody is joining or they have some clear vision or they have very clear idea of what they can bring on the table, right? So then that itself is very useful for you. Like okay, otherwise so the person is doubtful. No, I'm not sure. I'm here only to do my duties. It could be okay for a very low level employee or fresher or something. But when you want somebody who should be a leader or who should be managing their role, right? It is not just like asking the person or checking the person, taking calls or something like that, right? It is basically implementing something new, okay, driving some changes. So that's what we have to check if the person is really capable of it. So, right from the time of recruitment, the questions or the evaluation should focus on that. That is one thing. And once we have the team, what we can do is basically there should be a clear-cut rewards recognition program. Otherwise, nobody might be interested. If I give some suggestions, improvements, or if I work for some improvement, what I am getting is same as like somebody who is not doing that or who is not actively participating. Then nobody might be interested, right? So what's the language management will understand all over the world? There is one language which every management will understand. Any idea what it is?
No.
It is simple. Anywhere in the world, it is the same language. Money terms, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So if say you bring in this change, this much improvement, this much savings we have, okay, then what is the percentage the person is getting? Isn't it? Okay, or put everything into when you suggest something to top management or management, this is the change what we can bring in. Okay, how much it will impact it will have, what are the savings or how much
किधर से मिले
you
शिवराज का
get from this.
तेरा फोन है
Then
क्या
that is a very clear thing, like okay, this is
Live
what
okay.
we are, what type of, what is the
वो record
cost
कर रहा हूँ।
involved, what is the benefit we get.
अच्छा तेरा फोन है ना
We should always think
देवसी भी
money terms.
हाँ
Otherwise, it is a vague idea without any clear link. Somebody has
Brightness कम कर रखी ना, battery कम पिएगा।
we are going to end up. So like that, when plans are there, it should be clearly defined. Plus,
अभी तो leadership बना रहा है
tell the employee or the person that when you
leadership सबसे जरूरी है
this is what you are going to get. Okay. Another thing is giving specific trainings with other opportunities to improve the competence, giving persons a time or resources to visit or see other places where we have similar kind of things going on where they can learn something. Okay, all that will be helpful, but more than anything, it is the competency, the capability of the person which you have to do, and also encourage person to contribute. Okay, how to improve it. Usually, people will be very hesitated, or there might be, or we can say, most of the people will be very shy to express, contribute what they feel, or they might be thinking what should be. It may not be considered properly, or most of the cases nobody might be interested in listening to other
ताली बनूंगा इसमें मोबाइल पर
people or employees or other
सुनते अपना काम कर रहे हैं कंप्लीट चल रहा है
wherever we can find. Okay. Supporting other managers to demonstrate leadership, so that is also very important. It is a teamwork. Customer focus, management should follow customer focus approach. Yesterday we discussed in detail how to ensure a customer focus approach is followed by the organization. Basically, identifying the requirements, meeting the requirements, then addressing the risk and opportunities, monitoring and measuring customer satisfaction. Okay, all that are part of customer focus approach. Okay. QMS policy. Do you have a QMS policy?
Release, release.
Well, I think only Harish would provide, as his own person, maybe I don't think anyone can follow.
Okay, so what could be there in the QMS policy? Mainly the QMS policy, it is a quality policy. It is.
might be the standards which we need to follow
Sorry? Yeah, standards.
standards
It says like what our organization is trying to achieve or what we are trying to give to our customers. It is the overall, we can say, the high level policy of the
Processes.
company. Okay. Say for example, we would like to, our intention, our goal is to provide this type of clinical services or which we try to continuously improve, we try to provide the best solutions or best services. Like that, what you think your strength is, or how you explain this to the customer in say like 2 sentences, 3 sentences. Then that you can call as your quality policy, QMS policy. It should be available for the public. It is basically we can say quality statement. Okay. Isn't it similar to mission and vision also?
Yes.
Yes, we can say mission and mission not specifically required here as per ISO standards. It is only requiring for this policy. So we can say like sort of mission. Scientific. That is very, similar to that. Okay. Correct. If you have a mission, we can put the things together and make it as a possible. And it says it should be appropriate to the purpose and context. So we should have the specific statement which related to the context, the type of service or the framework for setting your objectives and include a commitment to satisfy applicable requirements. So it should clearly say that we meet all the applicable requirements, including the customer requirements and legal requirements. And we will be continuing to it. So in your vision, if you have this word that we will meet all the requirements or meeting all the regulatory requirements, customer requirements, something like that, and we try to continue to improve our services, then that will be, meeting these things. If you don't have that type of usage or something, specifically mentioned in the policy, you can include that. But overall, it should be a quality statement. So it should be documented. Remember yesterday we discussed there is a standard for documented information for the record, maintaining records like the policy communicate it to all interested parties. So interested parties are suppliers, customers, employees, all people. Right? So how we communicate with them? We can use that display the reception, the department. You can put on your website. Also, we have contractors, other partners. You can send an email to saying that is our policy. That shows that you are communicating your policy to everyone. That's the idea, nothing else here. We have just define the policy and share it to everyone. Okay, and nothing much. Assigning roles and responsibilities, authorities. So what is a role? The meaning of role is simply the designation. Role means the designation. Responsibility and authority. What is the difference here? Any idea? If you have you are a JD chief, have you received your JD? It says you are
Yes. So that's the job responsibility.
Yeah.
Authority is what the leadership assigns you. What comes under your purview to do, or what the do's and don'ts on
do's and don'ts, and what is given to you all will be mainly the responsibilities. Authority is something only you can do. Okay.
Oh, I can do it.
Or you are specifically supposed to do that. Okay. It could be your privilege type of thing, or only or you are responsible to do that. Okay. Say for example, in our case, prescribing, okay, the medicine. Who can do that? Yeah, doctors, a physician, right? So as per Clinical Establishment Act, only they are authorized to do that. So that authority is for that person. Okay, but do you have any IP?
No.
No, okay, fine. Say now, regulatory report, lab report, who can sign it? So you should assign somebody, right? You should have told who is authorized to sign the report. So who should do that? So you have to check with the legal requirements, right? Clinical Establishment Act for radiology, okay, there should be this qualified experienced person for lab also again, depending upon the test who can authorize the report. Not anybody, okay, not any testing person. Many labs are doing it, but nobody is checking it. Or they will see that. The testing person himself will authorize and give the report to the patient, which is illegal. Okay, so that is another thing. And maybe like when you recruit a new person, you have to finally approve the selection of a person who is authorized to do that. Maybe HR manager or any senior manager. Okay, so like that, most of the processes or most of the functions, departments will have certain types of authorities to be managed or to be performed by specific roles. So you have to assign that, and then you have to put that in the JD of the respective role or respective designation. Okay. So that's the difference between responsibility and authority. Not every designation, every job will have authority in the JD. Okay. So unless and otherwise that person will have specific authority. It may not be mentioned in the JD, but responsibility will be there for each and every one. Okay. Do you have a copy of your JD with you?
No.
Are we communicating the JD to each and every person?
Yes, we are, but it's not present right now.
Okay. So you mean the JD is not available or not with you?
No, at the time of hiring, the JD is given. It's there. It's there in the recruitment process. But it's not. I mean, I don't think any one of us is carrying it right now with us. If you want us to refer it.
Yeah, you might be getting a copy so that you know what are the responsibilities. Or it could be like if you have any, documentation management repository or like a SharePoint, SharePoint, there you can make it available, or you have any HRMS application which you are using, where you might be using for leave and other things.
Yes, the TRAs are there. So the key responsibility areas are there on our HRMS.
Alright, so in HRMS you can make it available. So everybody knows what they are supposed to do. So that JD sharing is important. And some specific responsibilities are mentioned here. So this should be there, should be assigned, and somebody might be doing this. So ensuring that QMS conforms to the requirements of ISO 9001 standard. Our quality management system should conform to this requirement. So we'll have this responsibility. Is it assigned to somebody now? If not, you have to check the JD and see who will take care of it. So that is how you identify when you do the training, and if you see a requirement is there, now you can think. Maybe, see, everybody cannot do that. Maybe the HR or the senior manager who is define the JD should think whether this is assigned. It should be be able to track it, okay? And you have to show this person doing that in the JD. Okay. Ensuring the processors are delivering their intended outputs. According to you, who should be responsible for this? Yes, perfect. So that's the idea here. Every person should be, having this responsibility, should be following this, because it is, not say we can say like that the manager has to do that or senior manager has to do, because every individual should make sure that what they do, they are doing it in the best way. Reporting the performance of PMS to top management. Who has to do this? Managers, senior, team leaders, or any supervisors, you are saying. So that is the role. Any person in such roles should be reporting this. So whatever related to their function, their team, they should monthly or monthly is the best, frequency, because every month if you have certain data gains, then you make the charts, everything, submit to the management. Okay. see, management is not checking it or not asking for that, no, we might be submitting. There is no point submitting. That's the reason earlier we have seen top management fully ensure actively monitor the performance. Ensure the promotion of customer focus. Customer focus yesterday and today we are seeing how we can ensure customer focus. So who has to do that?
Primarily the front line, but otherwise as a culture, I think the whole organization.
Yes, whole organization, alright. Also the senior managers can take the lead in this. Okay, ensuring the integrity of QMS during changes. Any changes when you bring in, you have to make sure quality management system is not getting, affected or whatever the impact is there. We are mitigating or we are controlling it. So again, that is the managers mostly. Who has to make sure that when we are bringing in what impact is having. Okay. So let's see the next thing. So this is a sample JD. Again, it is just for you to understand what are the things to be there in the JD. So definitely we have a designation or role here. MD or HR manager. Function might be there. Okay, what is the job type? To whom the person is reporting to. That should be in the JD. Okay, deputy, the person is not available. Can take care of the activities, the roles, responsibilities that will be there. There are many qualification requirements. Normally you might see the actual qualification written in the JD, but it should not be like that. It should be the required level of qualification experience which you have to put in the JD.
Recording is not working. आगे मेरे में तो
Yes, using the
तेरे में बोलिए करियो
so
ये वाली स्लाइड से
I
आइए
put MBA for MD. And when the auditor is
मेरा लिखा है ना मिनिमम क्वालिफिकेशन एमबीए
it should match.
इसलिए बोलता हूँ मैं एमबीए कर दीजिए इसलिए मैंने एमबीए कर
You
दिया
define. So how you define the minimum qualification requirements for a job role? What are the inputs? And also for the experience. See now, these things are fine. Qualification, experience, what are the skill requirements, responsibilities and authorities. All this when you define for a JD, how you will do that? How you will know?
रेगुलर करनी पड़ती है ये करके आए ना रेगुलर सारे बीबी और
Is required or not required.
सिद्धार्थ वगैरह
So how you can identify that?
I think that's a difficult one to answer. Maybe you can help us
It
understand.
is easy because, okay, let's have a thumb rule here. Any requirement, anything you define for your management system, you have to look into 3-4 areas. Then, once you keep this in mind, you will be getting sufficient inputs. Whenever you implement any management system, you take care of this type of thing. You look into 3-4 areas. So if you are defining the roles, responsibilities, authorities, or if you are defining the communication requirements, or if you are doing the risk management, or if you are planning something, okay, what you have to do, you check all the legal requirements. Okay. What are the acts, laws, everything of it. Okay. In that, many of the things will be specified. Okay. So that you see, who will do this, who will do that. According to that, you list out everything. As per, for any radiology department or, the organization to do all the radiology things like X-ray and other scanning. What are the legal requirements? Okay. Say somebody has some qualification experience requirements are there for person signing authorization report. There are some qualification requirements for the person doing the analysis, right? There are some qualifications. There are some requirements to do the monitoring of batches, right? The room conditions, the quality control of vehicle equipment. So again, you see, okay, these are different responses. So to
हम
whom it
तेजी से चल रहा है यहाँ
assigns.
पे मिट्टी खनन हो रही है
Okay.
ये मिट्टी बेच ही रहा होगा
You will
पेड़
get
काट रहे हैं
input
अलग से
from all these legal requirements and you
पेड़ तो सारे काट दिए जंगल
all
को
that is assigned to or assigned and it is specifically assigned to different roles as required. Next one is management system standard. NABH, NABH standard, ISO standards, all will have say some standards will say you should have a quality manager, you should have a technical manager, you should have an authorized secretary, or you should have somebody to collect the complaints, somebody to analysis the feedback. Earlier you have seen somebody should be reporting to top management about the performance. So these are the different tasks as part of the management system requirements. So list out all of them and see who can do that, who did that JD. Okay. And next one is business requirement. So depending upon your organization's requirement, if your organization says when a patient is coming in, you have to collect so much of information or these things, you have to fill a request form, you have to support the person, or when you are issuing a report, you have to provide a briefing to the person. So if that is, sometimes it is required because you get different inquiries or other complaints, or sometimes it is required because the organization is thinking that that will be helping you gain more business. So like that, responsibilities. Yesterday discussed that some type of public relationship officer or somebody might be required to handle any difficult situations which may arise, okay, which can damage our reputation. They say like who will take care of it, what are the responsibilities for the person, how they should act. So there should be a clear protocol, what they have to do, right? That's the third one. And what else? We are using different methods, okay, standards, or equipments. In that manuals or the standards, methods, there will be specific tasks to do or specific things mentioned. Again, you see, if it is not assigned to a person, you list out them and assign to different roles, persons, technical things. Okay, so these are the four areas or documents or other requirements you have to look at it. So that you will cover everything. Since many organizations are not really looking into legal requirements, they don't really understand the. Yes. Are you asking it?
I'm so sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
क्या बोल रहे थे
अच्छा लगा तुम्हें
Yeah,
You can continue. You can continue.
Yeah. To proactively identify all these things, implement that things. Okay. Many places, many organizations, HR manager, they may not be clearly aware, okay, what exactly the role of manager or the role of normal HR person. Okay. The HR manager might be mostly doing signing the reports, signing who can who we are onboarding, okay, signing the approval or what you say, or the mostly it might be like signing the documents or all those things. Okay. Other than that, this type of specific requirements identifying such things, and they even those type of managers, not just HR, even procurement or anywhere, okay, they may not be really aware that these are the things that they have to do. Okay, they have to identify all the resources, apply all of that, right? Put that in the policies, put that in the JDs. So that's the reason when you are leading a team, then you should be really identifying all these requirements rather than just like acting say like an lead or just signing the reports, approvals. All these requirements should be properly identified. Okay. So with that, we are concluding close 5. Any questions so far? It is just assigning the roles, responsibilities, setting the policy, communicating it, okay, taking the overall responsibility of the management system. Anything else? Any questions?
पुनीत 697 days बाली 40,000 हो सकता है.
So you can see all these responsibilities.
बारह किस्ता
Some cases you may not be having the right person in that role. Okay, the person may not be having the required qualification experience, which is very mandatory as per legal requirement. The good thing is here, in our country we have requirements, but nobody is bothered to follow, nobody is bothered to enforce it. So everyone is happy, right? No fines, no problem. Okay. So we are, it is like the plan is there, do check act is not there. So we release the policies, we release the legal requirements, and that's the end of the story. Now one is enforcing. So we all are always happy. We don't have any trouble here. But again, for a bigger organization or an organization which wants to be very proactive in implementing all that, maybe we can try to implement all that things. Okay. Next is clause 6, planning. So with this one covers risk and opportunities, objectives and planning to achieve them and planning of change. Only 3 things. One is we have to define the risk and opportunity. Another one is we have to define the objectives and make plans to achieve them. And whenever any changes are there, how we implement the change. Risk and opportunity, yesterday we discussed very well as part of a plan phase, plan to check and phase. Now when you define a risk, what is the first step you will do to identify the risk? You have to list out all the processes. For each and every process, you have to identify the risk. What is the best way to identify a risk? Again, now it has come back to the managers or the leaders or the team. Okay, how we are going to implement this? So any clause we see here in this, we should be worried or we should be thinking that how we will implement this. The first thing is identifying it. How we can identify the risk?
कहाँ लिखा है इसने आइडेंटिफाई?
पूछ रहा है
No, I think,
Identify the risk.
the process,
Yeah.
that's where we wear the black hat, usually that black hat,
Yes.
which you have in six thinking hats. And from their perspective, we see what if it fails, what if it fails, what if it fails. And there's a domino effect that we would try to analyze and see what can be the impact. And from there, we can start the measurements as to what kind of measures we would take to
Correct.
streamline the process and let it stay within a particular way.
Right. Okay. Great. So that is the best way. Initially, we have to see what can go wrong or what can fail. So the thing here is, we might be having an idea. Okay? There is a chance of failure here. So it should be a brainstorming exercise. You should have all type of different people involved in that process who will be contributing to identify the risk. Because the risk, what the managers might be seeing, cannot be the same as what others might be seeing. What the other person might be seeing is risk related to their life. So please have everybody on board when you are trying to identify the risk. Then list out all the risks which can happen. Then you check the past performance or history or any critical issues you face. All of that will be having something, some risk in that which have already occurred. So that again you list out all of them. Put in the records. So that is again contributing. Then again you can see like in other clinics, other areas, competitors, the news, what has gone wrong. When we see something going wrong somewhere else, what is the first thing we do?
Sorry, can you say it again?
See, when we see some really bad thing happen in some other lab or some other, external organization, what is the first thing we do? Or how we react to that? What is the way? How we
That is
react to that?
sense. You let it make sense.
We say, oh, that fellow is a good for nothing, right?
Yeah.
They don't do anything properly. We are all perfect, right?
Yeah.
But the truth is that tomorrow it could be our turn.
Right.
If we see somebody falling down, the first thing is we know, oh, that fellow is not working properly, all right? But even we can fall, right? So that thing is always we can learn from others' mistakes or something, really gone bad. Sometimes when we see the news, we may not believe, oh, really, this type of things can really happen, right? Then we should not be just spending time to, see how bad the other person, other lab or other clinic is. But the immediate response would be like assess our internal processes, how well, how much we are prepared to handle these type of situations. Okay. Do you expect a snake bite inside the lab or inside the facility? You are a customer or somebody getting bitten by snake.
Come of course not.
No, right? But even many places it happens. Okay, so we might be having some pest control or other things. It could have should be there, like.
बता देना कबूतर आ गया ऐसा कबूतर
Since we are not handling very much or not discussing very much related to health and safety here, there is ISO 45001 standards. But NABH or other standard will be definitely referring it. We don't have to consider it. This is only call we take. Okay, so that's not a problem. But if you issue a report, a critical report, say HIV report is going to a different person. Okay, so what happens? It will have very serious legal impact. Okay. So that risk we may not have identified or we never thought it was going to happen or we are not prepared. Okay. So that is really something we should. So how we can prevent it?
Measures again, I think,
Yeah, measures, not just like measures, on top of what you are usually doing, okay? Because normally you may release, you may have a certain process to release it. But when you see this is a critical report, should not be released in using the same method or common method, you have some extra control there. That is the importance of risk assessment. You see the risk level, the risk impact, and you have to apply extra control, extra measure. That's the reason we should do a risk assessment and react to the risk or proactively plan the controls. So there are a lot of risks. So if you say think what you can do, once you discover the risk, you count it. In your function, if you are getting 4 or 5 risks listed, is that enough or how you will see that it's happy? Or you can say if in your function, if you have 100 or 200 risks, then it is something you can really say, okay, we have done a good job. If you have 5 risks or 10 risks, then you say we are just beginning, okay. That is how it is. This should be like in hundreds. You should list out each and everything which happened in our place, which happened in other places, which may happen, or from our experience we anticipate these type of things. Alright, some risk when it happens only when a quality issue, some issue, risk will be affecting your reputation. Sometimes it could be some financial loss or something. So accordingly you see what is the problem we are going to face. Then you can categorize the risk. So risk can be categorized based on probability and occurrence. Probability means probability and impact. Okay. Probability is the occurrence, how many times it can happen. say like daily, is it something which is going to happen daily or weekly or monthly, once in a year? Very rare, say snake bite or sending report to wrong person, a very critical report to wrong person. Could be something which may happen once in a month or once in a year if you have only one location and very low number of tests. If you have 10 locations and if you are doing more number of tests, then the probability becomes very high, right? And the impact could be any financial loss of reputation, loss of customers, or legal impact. So based on that, you say the risk is having high impact. So you may use a score of 1 to 3 like that. 1 is up to you, but 1 to 3 is very simple, easy method. So if it is a rare, probability is very less, then you give a score 1. Once in a while, it can happen again and again. It is 2. Frequently means daily or once in 2 days or at least weekly. Then you can say 3. Say equipment. If you are using different equipment in lab, radiology, and you have only 10 scanning or 10 tests you are doing per day. And when you have more workload, now you reach to 50 patients. So that the frequency is again more. Chance of equipment breakdown is more. So initially you may have a preventive maintenance plan where you do once in 2 months, once in 6 months. Now you may have to do it more frequently because when it is subjected to more use, again risk is getting higher, right? So what to bring the score here? Again, impact. Impact sometimes could be minor impact. Sometimes it could be very repeating work, added cost. Okay, and 3 could be repeating work, added cost, loss of business repute. Okay, reputation. So based on that, you see now it is very high. So you can multiply both. Here, when both are both risk probability and impact is very low, you multiply, get 1 by 1. Okay, this is 1. So when it is highest, 3 by 3, 9. So we can say like 4 onwards, everything is somewhat medium to high. 4 is a medium, 6, 9, everything is high. So anything falling under this should be strictly controlled, or there should be extra control in place. 1 to 3 could be something which you can accept, or you will have basic controls. That's how you can define, or even you want to use a different score, different pattern, so good. But ultimately the aim is not to say the risk is not very high or it is something we can ignore. The idea here is to control as much risk as possible. In many places when you see the risk assessment, the score what they give, everywhere they want to give score is low, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, so that we will see only 2, 3 risks are high and we will have control only for that. That's not the right practice. You try to list out the risks and try to control as much as possible. Wherever you think there is a chance of high impact or chance of very frequent occurrence, then you give the high score. So you will not be missing out on that. Otherwise, you will have a risk assessment in place, you will not have a control in place, proper control in place, and tomorrow that risk may happen. Okay. So this is how you have to do. So whenever you face some issue, come back here and see if we consider this risk. Is this risk already the same type of issue considered while we doing the risk assessment? If it is not there, you include it as a new risk. If it is already there, see the controls what you implemented, see if it is enough or not. If you have to improve something, you have to improve it. Okay, that is how you have to use the risk management. This is one of the very important, you can say one of the most important tools you can implement in any organization to make sure you don't face any type of serious issue. And you can use the same thing for training. So if you have a list of all the risk controls in place, when you have a new person, you share the document to the person. These are the things which can go wrong when you work with this department. So please be aware of the risk. What are the controls we are implementing? Control should be evident in our process. It should be evident. Say equipment breakdown, that's a risk. So what can happen? The impact would be that when you register the patient, you will not be able to provide the report on time. Or sometimes the malfunctioning happens. The result, the validity, okay, may not be there. So for that, what we have to do have preventive maintenance. We have to establish a preventive maintenance program where we frequently monitor the equipment, change the parts or something, okay, so do the servicing before it actually facing with a breakdown. So your people will know that this risk might be there. Okay, these are the controls. So that control should be evident. So we should have a maintenance plan, the maintenance reports. Okay. People not aware of their roles and responsibilities. That is another risk. For that, what you have to do, you should have a JD. You have to communicate to the person. So the person will be clearly aware of the roles, responsibilities, authorities. So like that, you share this to each and every person. They will be aware of the risk and the controls in place, and they will follow them. Okay. So as a risk management procedure here, first identify the risk, identify all risks. Collect any historical data regarding the risk or incidents that happen. Identify the severity from low to high, which we discussed now. Identify the probability from low to high, again, same thing we discussed. Analysis, okay, check the score and see what are the high impact risks which we have to immediately control or we have to have extra control for that. So that's how we define based on the risk significance score. You can categorize significant and non-significant risk. Then control them. Okay, accept the non-significant risk as it is if you want. Okay, or you can put controls for each and every type of risk. Medium high level risk will have extra controls. That's it. Plan and implement the control. Review the effectiveness. So again, we have to see when you will review the effectiveness after implementing. First, when you have some incidents, take any corrective action and review periodically. So that's how you implement the risk management practices. Okay, hope that's clear. We'll have some exercises to identify the risk. Okay, so that we'll work it out. Some examples here. HR related, lack of clarity around individual roles and responsibilities. So you have to clearly define and communicate to workers and provide trainings. Okay, all these are some controls. We have not put any score here, just for you to understand. But when you do, you can really give the score and see what's the impact level. Persons not following organizational policies, that's another risk. Why this is a risk in our context? Because, say, what are the different policies that we should have? Maybe like considering the legal requirements, other requirements. Any idea?
Not very sure.
Not sure. Okay. Anybody else? Board level policies. What we have seen here, right? In the standard. What is that?